I want to welcome you once again to a new tutorial on our web application development course. This is going to be a tutorial on HTML. Remember that I said HTML is one of the technology that you are going to be using at the front end. There is no web developer who does not know or have not worked with HTML before. HTML, although it's one of the lowest technology that you are going to be dealing with, but its power cannot be overlooked just because it is used to prepare the contents of your website. So no matter how robust your technology is, you still need to come back to HTML. You can use the best technology, but the idea is you can't really take HTML out of the line. I understand that you might have some knowledge of HTML in the past, and that is the reason why I will quickly walk you through what I feel that you should understand before you proceed further in the course. And having said that, I will quickly jump into HTML and show you some stuff that I have prepared for you. Although you need to understand that this is not a complete tutorial on HTML. Instead, it's a way to quickly put your leg on the ground and let us go to our other technology. Okay, so this is what I have done. In case you want to follow along with me, I have prepared for you a zip file that once you unzip it, you get this folder, and inside this folder you have all of the software that we are going to be using. But the only software we are going to be using for now is the Visual Studio Code Editor. For others, you can just leave them. As we progress through the course, we will be installing more software that we need. So to install Visual Studio Code Editor, all you need to do is to double click on it, and once you double click on it, the installation starts. So it's very easy and straightforward to install. You just continue to click on next, and it's going to install the applications for you. It's okay, so you need to click on you accept and you continue to click on next, but I would not install it just because I have done that already. So I'm going to click on cancel and I'm going to exit the setup. Okay, so right now I need to start Visual Studio Code Editor, and this is it on my screen. You can double click on it or you just press the enter key on the icon, and it's going to start your Visual Studio Code Editor for you. Okay, so let's wait for Visual Studio Code Editor to start, but before then I want to quickly show you what we are going to be designing for today's lesson. Okay, so this is going to be our lecture 2, and I've already designed something for you here. So we'll create something similar to this. I have done that already. So and this is it you are looking on the screen. Okay, so all of this is prepared with HTML. We are not really after a fancy website for now. We are just interested in learning HTML, don't forget. And with HTML, you may not be able to do a lot of stuffs, but you would be able to prepare your contents, and that is what we are interested in. So with HTML and some little CSS added to it, we are able to come up with something like this. So if you can prepare something like this and you can create some sign up form, I think you are good to go with HTML. You can just move on to some other technology, and it's for that reason I will be walking you through how we can quickly come up with something like this. Okay, so it's a very simple, it's just a single web page. It has some logo, it has some navigation bar, it has like your banner. Then if you scroll down again, it has some products here that are for sale, and at the end of the day you have some footer that will be replicated on all the pages of our website. So let's just see how you can create something like this. I'm assuming you do not know much about HTML, so let's quickly walk through how to create something like this. And even if you know something about HTML, it will still be a great advantage for you to understand how to structure your code in a more beautiful way. Okay, then the very first thing I'm going to be telling you in order to start this project is, for every project you will be working with, don't forget you must create a folder for the project. Okay, you should create a directory for your project. So you can right click and click on folder, give your folder a name. Let me just give it web and press enter. So this web folder is an empty folder. Inside this place, that is where I'm going to be creating what I have just shown you. So you need to double click on the folder to open it up, and you need to create some other folders inside it. And to do that is simple. You right click, go to new and click on folder, then you give your folder images. My intention is to be keeping all the pictures I will be using for this project inside images folder. Then you can right click again and create another folder, but let me show you different way to create a folder inside this web without using the previous approach. Now it's time to switch to our Visual Studio Code editor, which of course you must have opened by now. Then you click on open folder here, or you go to file menu and click on open folder. Remember, we created a new folder on the desktop. Kindly look for that folder here by pressing W. It's web. Then you click on select folder to open that folder. Then the folder will be opened up for you. Now let's wait and see. Okay. Now the folder has been opened. You will observe something here, that the folder is open, but inside that folder we have images folder. You remember we created this images folder inside it. Okay, so let's say you do not want to go back to the Windows Explorer to create another folder. You can do everything inside Visual Studio Code editor. All you need to do is to click on this new folder and give your folder a name. I'm going to be giving this folder CSS, and again I'm going to create. Observe that when I want to create another folder, I click outside here, then click here. It's a common mistake to have to click on CSS and create a new folder. That means you are creating a new folder inside CSS folder, and that is not my intention. My intention is to create the third folder inside web. For that reason, I'm going to click outside here, click on this folder and give my folder JS. JS in this case stands for what? JavaScript. And this of course is the approach I would love you to be doing for each and every project you'll be working with. Create a new folder and create these 3 new folders inside of that folder, and those new folders are called CSS, images and JavaScript. Okay, and lastly, you want to create a file inside your web. Okay, and this file I'm going to call it index.html. The .html is very important. You don't want to forget this, otherwise your file would not be treated as a web page, and what we are creating is a web page. Okay, so you do not want to forget to put .html. Now okay, so my file is created. Then the next thing I want to do is to copy all the pictures I'll be using for this project and put it inside these images here. You can do it here inside Visual Studio Code editor, or you head straight to your Windows Explorer. Remember, I've created something similar to this before, and it's inside tutorial. So I'm going to open tutorial, open lecture 2, project files. Then inside images, I have these images that I will be using for the project. So I'm going to hit Ctrl A to select all, and Ctrl C to copy, or you right click and choose copy over here. Then you head straight back to your web projects and move straight to images folder. Right click inside there and click on paste. Now you can be rest assured that all the images that we are going to be using for the project are already in the right place, and you can confirm that by coming to Visual Studio Code editor and try to collapse your images folder, and you are going to see all the pictures that we have copied down here. And let me just click on one to show you. If you click on this, then it should display it for you, and this is it. Okay, so be rest assured that the images I will be using for this project are already in the right place where I want them to be, meaning that I can now continue. Okay, the same will applies to the JS and the CSS, but right now we are not interested in the CSS and the external CSS and the JavaScript. Okay, so I will just move straight to HTML. So learning HTML. HTML is very simple. All you need to get about HTML is tags. How do you work with tags? What are tags? Tags determines, tags tell your HTML what you want to do. Okay, it is through tag that we are going to be telling HTML what we want to do. For instance, you might want to type a paragraph, then you say, oh, I need a paragraph tag. You might want to put a picture, then you say, oh, I need a picture tag. So all you need to get in working with HTML is what are these tags and when and how do I use them. So that is what I'm going to be showing you in this lecture. Okay, now let's proceed further. Another thing you must understand is HTML tags come in pairs, that is, it has an opening and closing tag. Okay, so what you see here is the opening HTML tag, while this is the closing HTML tag. Some other people calls it the starting and the ending tag. Okay, so you do not want to do something outside of your HTML. No, this opening and closing HTML tag is trying to tell you that this is the beginning of my HTML document and this is the end of my HTML document. So anything you are going to be putting in the document should be in between these two tags, okay, which is the opening and the closing tag. Having said that, then the next thing you want to do is to create the head tag. Okay, so what is this head tag? You can think of the head tag as it represents the header part of your document. Okay, we are not talking about hypertext transfer protocol, so we are talking about the document. So it represents the header part of the document. And what are those things you normally have inside the header? You will have something like link, in case you are linking to the external CSS, which of course we are not covering now, but the most important one we do want to cover at this point in time is the title tag. So you observe that this editor is really helping me out a lot. Once I type ti, it gives me some suggestion and I see what I need there. So I'm going to press enter and here becomes my title. So I'm going to give this document code tag as the title. Okay, so I just have a document with a title now. Then outside of the head tag, I'm going to create another tag that is called the body tag, and this I call the basic structure of your HTML document. Your HTML document should have the HTML tag, the head and the body, and this is how it should be. So if I ever ask you what is the basic structure of your HTML document, you want to tell me that it should be this way, like what you are looking on the screen. Let me increase the view so that you can get a chance to even see it better. Okay, so I'm increasing it now. Good. So I want to proceed further, so let me hit Ctrl S to save my job, or you just come to file here and click on save, then your document is saved. Okay, and let's assume that you type some things here and you hit Ctrl S to save your work. You can now open it up. How do you open it up? You can easily right click over here and choose revealing file explorer. It will just open it for us in our file Windows Explorer here. Or another way of getting through it is to go to where you are saving it, which is on the desktop. So you want to double click on the folder on the desktop, then you see your index.html. so you want to double click on it to open it up, and this is it. And this is, you will observe that the title is code tag just because we changed it to code tag. And you will of course observe that inside the document we have some of these things that is not making any sense now. Okay, but remember we are going for something like this. Okay, so let's proceed further. So I'm cleaning it up, and the next thing that I'm going to need at this point in time inside is to begin to prepare my page to exactly what I have in my mind, and then that is not going to be difficult at all. But first you must continue on the structure. Okay, and the structure at this point is going to be the structure at this point is going to be header. So header is part of HTML5 document tags. Okay, then we will also have footer. Hope you get it. Then we will also have a div here. I will be explaining all of this to you in detail, so now look at it very well. I'm trying to increase our structure to even be to a level that you will even get it, that it will even be more better for our work. So if you look at it now, I have header here. That means even in the body I have header, and that is going to represent the header part of the body. Then over here I have another div. Okay, then I now have footer. At this point in time, all I want to do is let me add some comments. And what is comment? Comment is just a way it's not part of the code, it's a way to explain what that part is doing, so that when I read it I quickly get to know, or when someone else read it they quickly get to know. So I'm going to call this header. The good name to just give it is header, as it implies. Then I'm going to call this one content. because that is where I'm going to be putting my content. And I'm going to call this one footer, and that is going to be at the bottom part of my page. Okay, if you hit Ctrl S to save your work and you head straight back to the screen and refresh, you won't get anything because we have not really put any contents at this point in time. Okay, now let's talk about the header. What do we want to put in the header? The first thing we want to put in the header is let's create a div inside the header. So what is this div? Div is another tag that is not really doing anything as such, okay, other than it's only helping you to house or to group your components together. That is what it's doing. And let me show you some stuff here. If I come to div, remember, just observe very well, I am doing this before the greater than sign. So I'm adding a style, and this style I'm going to call it background color. Then you can give it a color that you like. So what does this means to you? It means that this div starting from here to here, remember this is the closing tag. The / here denotes the closing tag. So giving it a background color of this aqua means that this whole division is going to have a separate background color. So if you hit Ctrl S to save your work now and you head straight back to the screen and you refresh, you'll be so surprised that you won't get any color. You might be wondering at this stage that is something wrong. No, it's just because the background color won't work for an empty div. That is, a div that does not have anything, won't even have any background color. So let's create a paragraph here and just type this is a div. Now you are correct to say that our div have a paragraph in it, and therefore it is no longer empty, it has a content. So you hit Ctrl S to save your job, head straight back to your browser and refresh. At this point in time, you now see that the background color comes into play and the content shows in the background color. This is just a simple way to show you that you would not be learning tags alone, but you would also be learning style alongside the tags, because with the style we can begin to shape our tags to our likeness, meaning that we can begin to add some designs to it, and in that case our design is now fixed together with our content, which of course is not what we want to do at the professional level. But at this level there is no sin. Let's just continue. Okay, so instead of putting let me delete this background color. I only put it there just because I want to show you how you add a style to your div. Mind you, you can add a style to just about any tags. Okay, any tags you can add a tag to hit. Okay, so what we are going to be doing here is let's go back to our screen. If you look at what we are trying to make over here, we have a logo. That's the first thing that comes before any other thing. So we too want to put this logo here. Okay, we want to put the logo there, and putting the logo there is not difficult. Okay, so let's put our logo in the right position. So first we need to make sure that we get a chance to see the logo that we want to put. So remember that I've copied everything inside the images folder, and over here we have our logo.png. So this is the logo that we want to put there. You can see it's maintained some transparency. So let's go back here. Now that means the first tag you are going to be learning, let's cancel this one, for we are going to put it back there. So it's img. So what is this img? It stands for image. So just press enter. So this img tag has two properties here. One is src, the other is all this alt. So the src means the source of the image. This is where you are going to put the path to your image that is going to be showing on the web page. And do not forget that I am here. This is my code, index.html. For me to be able to see this image in my code, I need to first, all the way from here, I need to jump into images, and on getting there, I need to now go on another journey to where? To logo.png. So please, you must follow that path, otherwise you won't be able to get the picture displayed on your web browser. So I'm going to type images / logo.png, and that means the image is down there. So let us hit on Ctrl S to save our job, and if you head straight back to over here, sorry, let's go to our home and you refresh your browser, then you now see the image. So now I hope you understand how to display an image on your web browser. It's that simple. Just make use of the img tag, although the size is too big for what we want, so that one is not a problem. I will introduce you to another property, and the property that you are going to be using here is width. You can control the width of your image. So we are going to be reducing the width down to let's say 100 pixel, and over here type style, so then type width w and type 100 pixel. Okay, so now let me quickly hint you about style. Style as it is has virtually almost everything you will ever need to customize your tags. So be rest assured that everything you need is inside style, and you can add more than one style. Okay, the style that I added just now is called width, and the value that I gave to it is 100 pixel. So pixel is a measurement unit that we are using at this point in time, and you already know computer display pictures in pixel, so we are changing the width to 100 pixel. Now hit Ctrl S to save your job, head straight back to your browser, and let us see if the width changes. Wow, so you can see the width has changed. Very good. Then another issue here is this needs to be positioned at the center of our document, like this one, but right now it's positioned at the left. So let's quickly undo that. It's not very difficult to undo, and if you have to guess, you should be guessing that it's hidden in style. That is, we are going to use style to do it again. Okay, and let me show you something. You can add another style, but it will be, if you say you add text align, there is a property called text align, and we can just put center here. So if you hit on Ctrl S to save your job and you refresh your browser, you will discover that it will not move an inch, not to talk of placing it to the center. That's because this property does not work for the image, just because our image is a block element. Okay, I will be explaining more on that. So let's move it away from here, and remember that you can apply style to just about any tags. So let's put our tag here and put text align center here, and if you hit on Ctrl S to save your job and you move straight to your browser and refresh, then you see now that it goes to the center. Why? The question is why. You must understand why, so that you can work your own formula out in some other time. It's not difficult. Okay, this img is a child to this div. Remember, this div starts all the way from here and it ends over here. So everything inside the div is automatically a child. So any property you apply to the parent automatically affects the child, and that's exactly what is going on here. We are telling the parent that everything inside of you, that is all your children, should be positioned to the center, and the image in this case is a child, which of course must obey the instruction of the parents. So the parent says all of you come to the center, and the child responds to that instruction by coming to the center, and that works for now. So you must understand at this point that the center does not work on the img, which of course have a reason, but it works on the parent. The img respects the parent so much. Okay, having said that, let's now look at the next thing to do. If you go back here, you see that we are already done with this part. Then we want to move to this part, and this part I'm going to call it my navigation bar, and I will be able to click on that so that my page change. Okay, so now let's handle the navigation bar, all with HTML, nothing more, or with a little bit of CSS. Okay, so our navigation bar at this point is going to come inside our contents. But of course you can make it to be part of the header, okay? And let's say you decide to make it to be part of the header. That means you want to open another div and let it be part of the header, okay? So which of course is not difficult. But one thing I will want to emphasize at this point in time is you must make sure that all the likely elements are grouped together with your div, okay? So I'm going to be creating another div here, and let me just call this div, let me comment it as my navigation bar. So if this becomes my navigation bar, then I want to do all sort of stuffs here. That is, I want to put all of these home, about us, I want to put it there. So I'm going to be introducing you to another tag. We call it UL, and it stands for what? On order list. So if you press Li now, it means you are adding some list over here, and the first I want to add is going to be home. Then the next I want to add is going to be maybe about us, and the next I'm going to add is going to be maybe contact us, just like that. And let's hit on Ctrl S to save our job, and let's see the changes over here. So I'm going to refresh, and you can see here they are. This is the default behavior of your on order list tag, okay? But I want it to be spread out like this, okay? So that is not a problem. But first, let us change the background color to black, just as we see it in that one. Now changing the background color is not difficult. We can just remember that everything here is automatically a child to the navigation div, okay? So let me style the div. I'm going to add another style here, give it a background color, and change it to black. Hit Ctrl S to save my job, then head straight back here and refresh. Then you can see it all becomes black. But unfortunately, my font color for those on other lists are also black, so there is no way to see it. What do you think would be the solution? I think the solution should be to change the color of the on other list so that they have different color, and the best color I can think of for now is white color, okay? Although let me quickly show you that I can add another style here and give it a color property of what? Of white, and hit Ctrl S to save my job. If you refresh now, you see that that one comes, only that one comes. And if I want others to be like that, I can just copy it and paste it. But there is a better way to do it. I'm going to be leveraging on the fact that everything here is automatically a child to this div, and anything you tell the parent, the child obeys. So I'm going to leverage on that and add another property here, which is going to be color. Then I will give it a value of white. But note something, I now have two properties only on this div. The first style that I have is background color, which has a value of black. The second one is color, which have a value of white. For us to be able to tell the difference between the beginning and the end of the two property, you must remember to put semicolon. This semicolon is a way to tell that background color has ended. Now I'm starting another property, which is color. Without this background, when this semicolon, you might not be getting what you really want. So let's hit on Ctrl S to save our job and head straight back and refresh. You can see everything now comes in white color, just because all of them are all of them are children of these parents, okay? So that's the reason why you see them coming out in white color. Thank you. And the next thing that I want to solve here is to make all of them to be on the same line. And for you to really understand this, you must grab the concept behind two types of elements in HTML. We have block elements and we have an inline block element, okay? Any element that occupy the entire space, the entire width, the entire row here is known as block elements. Remember that home is letter HOME. The little space this is the little space it takes, but unfortunately the remaining space are also budgeted for somehow, and for that reason any other element that comes will need to come on the last line. So maybe you do not want this, maybe you want this home to only take the space of a 4 letter. Then what do? all you need to do is to make sure that you tell your HTML that this should no longer be a block element. It should rather be an inline block, meaning that it should only take the space that it needs, not the entire space. And for you to do that is not difficult. All you need to do is to come to this li, let's give it a style, and there is this called display, and I'm going to be giving it not block because it's already block, rather I'm going to be giving it an inline block. Okay, and if you do this and hit Ctrl S to save your job and you refresh, you will discover that this disappear. Okay, not a problem, but you still do not get that kind of thing you are looking for. It's not an issue. What I can tell you for now is this will have to be repeated on all the li, so that all the li will be displayed in an inline block, and for that reason they would occupy just a single line because all of them can fit into that line, and you can see now. So what is the lesson here? The lesson here is anything that takes the entire space, you can change the display to inline block so that they will only take the little space that they need. Okay, at least we are getting there a little. What we want to do now is to find a way to position it to the center, and that of course is not going to be difficult for you to do, just because you have worked with this property already. This property is called test align. Oops, test align. Then you want to give it center. Do not forget that I could have just been doing it on each and every one of these, but it would take a whole lot of time. So I decided to put the test align center on this div, just because I knew that all of these are children of the div, and just because they are children, they have no choice than to obey their parent. Hope you understand. So if you hit Ctrl S to save your job, you refresh here, then you see that everything comes to the center. Now you should understand that HTML is about tags to prepare your content, but style is about fine-tuning the tags such that they come out in the way you want, and that is the concept behind the style. Okay, oops. So at this point, let us now create some breathing space for this. You can see they do not have any space to breathe at all, but if you check this one, it has a lot of space to breathe. I mean, those things there, those about us sign up, they have. In fact, we are missing sign up. Okay, so let's add those spaces over there, but before then, let's hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V over here, and I'm going to be changing this one to sign up, something like that, so that they can be 4 in number. So now I want to introduce some breathing space. Then the next thing I want to show you is another property that is called padding. Okay, but this padding comes in various form, and the one I'm going to be using now is called padding left. Then this padding left, if you are free to give it maybe 10% for instance. Ctrl S to save your job, and if you head straight back here and refresh, did you see that this thing moves somehow? It moves to the right. So when you use padding left, it added the space over here and shift the entire thing to the right, and that of course is not what I want for now. So guess what you would need? You can just change this to padding right, and if you hit Ctrl S to save your job and you refresh, see what happened. This maintained its position, but the space you see here had the 20 or the 10% that I requested for. I hope you understand. So what do you think would happen if I do the same thing for about, contact, and like that? Then there would not be breathing space for them. Okay, so padding left is a way to have some space in front of, like to have some space over here. Sure, I hope you get it. But the idea here is we want to create some breathing space. So what we are using is padding. Later on I will be differentiating between padding and what is it, padding and merging, because they are somehow closely related, but they are different. So I'm giving this as well padding left on of 10. Then I'm going to hit Ctrl C and do it for this as well, and hit Ctrl S to save my job. Then if you refresh now, you can see that all of them now have the padding left except this one, because I know if I am to give this one some padding right, it will be too far away. Okay, so but of course this we need to increase the size. Okay, we need to increase the size of our like the font size. Okay, and you can just do that at the top here so that all of them obeys that law. Okay, and since this one is getting long and long, you can just break it into multiple lines. Okay, so that we get a chance to see what we are doing. So I'm trying to break it up to multiple lines. It's still be going to be do the same thing. So what I want to do now is to increase the font size, and there is this property called font size, and you can just make it large. I think that will be okay. And hit Ctrl S to save your job and refresh. You can see it's bigger than that of before. Then there is also font weight and like that, but just because I want to be fast, this is just to give you like a quick walk around this. Now let's go back to where we are starting from. You can see we are getting there at least. So now let's move on to this banner. I call this one banner, where we want to apply the image. Okay, so let's go back and hit Ctrl S to save our job. So now you will discover that everything that I have done here starts and ends there, and that is for the navigation bar. Now, but observe that it is still inside content. So if I call all of these UL, if I call them children of this navigation div, then it is right for you to say that the navigation div itself is a child of the content div. And in that regard, you can say that this UL is a grandchild of the div, I mean of the content div. Hope you understand. And so the hierarchy goes on. You must grab that concept, because even if you are going to be doing well in some other bigger concept about the web, you still need to understand these fundamental skills about the web. So you must understand the hierarchy. Now I'm getting outside of the content outside of the navigation bar hierarchy, and I'm creating another div. So this div, I will just label it banner. Remember, this is just a comment just to show me that that is what it that's what it needs. So that, of course, I called my banner. And if you take a look at this banner now, I want to make sure that I give it some style, because among the styles that I want to give to it is the background image, because I will be using some background image. So let's give it a style, because ordinarily if you hit some Ctrl S and go back to your screen, you won't be seeing anything different as such. So we want to I want to quickly introduce you to background image, and this property is called background image. So I'm giving it a background image. So you give it URL. So inside this URL, you are free to put what there. You are free to put the address of your image that will be showing. But first, let us look at the image that we want to show. And the image is called mobile. Yeah, this is it, mobile.png. So if you extrude back here, you can see that the mobile.png is inside images. So all you need to do is just to type images with a / and type mobile.png. So that is the image. Okay, and at this point in time, I want to introduce you to another property, and of course that is going to be background size. So let's say background size. My background size here, let me change it to cover. Okay, so if you hit on Ctrl S to save your job and you extrude back to your screen to refresh, all in the hope of seeing your new image, don't be surprised you won't get any image. At this point you are wondering, what have you done wrong? Actually, you have not really done anything wrong. It's just that background image won't be applied to this division without height. You need to specify the height of the image. Okay, so still on this style, once again I am adding the third property, and just because I want you to really get along with me, let me change it to multiple lines so that you can see everything that I am doing. So I want to introduce to you background once again, but this background at this point is going to be background size, and let's change it to cover. Okay, sorry, I have done that already. What I really want to do is to add height. So the height now is going to be, depends on what you deem fit. Okay, there are different measurement units you can use. Do not forget we've used pixel before, and with pixel, this 100 pixel, and we've used percentage. Anytime you are using percentage, you are trying to say, okay, this thing should be as big as 10% of the entire screen. That is what percentage mean. The entire screen starting from here down to the end is 100%. So if you want something to be 100% big, then you put 100%, it will fill the entire screen. Okay, but if you really want it to be half as big as the screen, then you want to use 50%. That's when you are using percentage. Okay, but let me quickly introduce you to another measurement unit. Over here I'm going to be saying 80, and I will say VH, and that means remember we are talking about height. 100 VH means the entire height starting from top to bottom, but 80 means it will not be as big as it will not cover the entire screen. So now we have height added to the div. So hit Ctrl S to save your job and head straight to your browser and refresh. Okay, good for you. Now you can see that the image is coming, and you can see that we still have some space here. It does not cover the entire, so that's the remaining 20%. Let me quickly prove that to you. If you change it from 80% to 100 and you hit Ctrl S, I mean 100 VH, and you hit Ctrl S to save your job, you refresh, you can see that it covers the entire screen. Okay, that is 100 VH. And but I think I would be going with 80 over here, and I'm going to hit Ctrl S to save my job. Okay, then you are going to refresh, then you have something like this. Now let me quickly make something clear to you. When you are working with style, at times you need to understand that those things are those properties are interdependent, such that the absence of one causes a different behavior of the other. So until you grasp the relationship between those property, you might be wondering why is it not working. So only if you had known that without height the background image won't work, then you wouldn't face more problem. Okay, but that is the entire scope anyway. So I think we are done with the banner, except I may want to show you some other stuff, like this word that is written here, that is written down here. I'm able to use some position. Okay, because the you can see that I am writing it over there. It's not part of the picture. If you check here, you won't see that word, but if you check here, you would see that word. Okay, and how then am I able to position it to the center? Okay, now let's go back here. Let's quickly do with the word. So this is inside my division, which I call banner. If I let's type something here, the boy, for instance, and let us hit Ctrl S to save your job, and if you refresh, you see the boy is up here. Okay, but if I were you and you really want to do that, I would prefer that even the content that you are adding in here, because if you look at it very well, okay, let's just make it a paragraph, and let us type the code or what was written there, passion drives code. Okay, so let's type passion drives code. So if you hit Ctrl S to save your work, and you S read back and refresh, then you see the passion drives code written here, but we really want it over here, and that's where I will introduce you to another style. So by now you're supposed to know that it's all about style. So, and the style that I am using here, first position, and I want to change it to absolute. What this means is I'm going to be position passion drive us absolutely inside where, inside this. So that means the coordinate that I'm going to be giving this will only be reflected taking this as a word coordinate system. So I'm going to be using this, not the entire screen. I'm going to be using this div here as my word coordinate system. So you can think of this as local coordinate system. And to bring it out a bit, I am positioning a box in the house, something like that. So do not forget that the height is 80. So half of 80 is what? 40. So maybe you are also specifying height here, and you want to give it 40 VH, something like that, and you want to hit Ctrl S to save your job. Then if you head straight back here and you refresh, oops, you can see that that's one is not really coming, because this is a paragraph and that is of course not okay. Sorry, I'm very sorry. You should not use height, you should use top. I'm so sorry. Hit Ctrl S to save your job and you should refresh. Okay, you can see now that it's coming down here, which of course you can say that it's about 40% of, let's say, half of the entire something. So top means that from this place to this place, you understand, from here to here now is 40, and that is exactly what it means. But what about the width? Well, remember I told you the other time that anything that starts from the beginning and end and take the entire width is what? Is 100%. So let's say you want, that means the middle is going to be 50%, something like that. And let me prove that to you. If you come straight back to your background image here, to this style here, and you apply width, remember we gave the picture the div some width, some height. So let me give it width, and let me give it just 60% or thereabouts, and you hit Ctrl S to save your job. If you head straight back here and you refresh, do you see the picture is now 60% long? It does not cover the entire area again. Just because you break it, you said it should not be. Sure, you understand. But now let's change it to 100% and hit Ctrl S to save your job. Then if you refresh now, you see that the picture now takes the entire width. So the same applies to this content here. If I want to put this thing in the middle, then I want to position it 50%, something like that. But so back to now, I use top to send it down, remember. Then I'm going to use left to send it right, something like that. So, and the left now I will shift it to the right by 50%. But let's see 50%, because my guess is that you will not be getting exactly what you desire. So but at least you can see that it moves. Okay, not bad, only that it is using this place, as the local and the origin of the local coordinate system for the Passion Drive OS. Okay, and if you can find a way to change the anchor point to, let's say, in between the drive, then there could have been a way. But I don't want to get extremely too complex for this small exercise, so for that reason I will just send it back a little to by 45 and hit Ctrl S to save your job once again and refresh. At least it comes down here. Okay, so the remaining thing now is for it to come out in this kind of yellow color, and maybe you want to make it big, increase the size, something like that. All can easily be done with style. I hope you get it. So let's put another semicolon here, and I want to give it a color. You already know that now. That column, let me give it yellow. And the next thing that I want to give it, let's break it down because it's getting long. So the next thing that I want to give it, maybe I want to increase the font weight. So once you type font, Visual Studio will really help you. Font weight, you can make it bold or you can increase it maybe by 500 pixel. Now I'm using pixel. Okay, then you refresh. Okay, you can see that I have Passion Drive OS and it's really coming out in that color, only that it does not really look as if it's that big. Okay, so I would prefer to just make it bold, because you can pass bold into font weight. Okay, Ctrl S to save your job and just refresh. I think it's okay this way. So now let us stop here a little and do quick recap on this little stuff that we have done. Okay, and hand it a bit here so that we can continue later, because the lecture seems to be going long. So now please try to get it. This is how to design your HTML. You create your HTML document by clicking on this new file, give it a name. You do not want to forget .html is very important. Then you want to start your HTML tag, and at the same time, before it's too late, you need to close it back. Okay, and the editor will even got you covered for that one. And again, you really want to follow by head then you want to have title. Inside the head, then you want to give your document a title. Then now we have a body. So if you look at the body, it starts all the way from here. Then if you scroll down, it ends here. That is to tell you that virtually almost everything you will be doing is going to be inside the body. Okay, now inside the body, I decided to have 3 different demarcations, something like that. Here I have header for my document. Here I have contents, and if you scroll down, I have footer. Okay, so inside the content, I created a navigation bar, and this is the bar. You can see the division starts here. This is the closing for the division, and the division have all of this style. And the first is background color. I am changing it to black. The second is white color, that is anything that will be written here will be white. Then text align is going to be centered. I'm going to center it, everything that will be inside this div, and that's why you see all of this menu coming in the center. I hope you understand. Okay, I observe that I omit this. This is IMG, the logo. Okay, and you change the, obviously every logo you get might not be in the size that you want, so you do not want to forget the width property which you used to change. Then I also told you that text align does not work for IMG, but only if you can let the IMG be a child to the div. Then you can apply text align center to the div, and it will center the picture for you. You must get all of this little concept. Okay, then another thing I'm able to do here is UL on other list tag is a list which will be coming on different line. But one thing you can do to safeguard yourself, if you really want everything to be on the same line, is to change their display property to what? To inline block element. And if you change it to inline block, what you are doing in essence is you are saying that it should maintain a single line, but because all those contents should only take the little space they can. Okay, then I applied padding right just because I want to create some breathing space in between these words. Okay, and then I moved down to where we are creating our banner. In fact, I decided to give it banner over here. So if you check it very well, you would see that I have created background image. So this div itself is a background image. Okay, so and the image is as wide as 100% and is as long as 80 viewports, taking 80% of your viewports. That's what this one means. Okay, and this is the location of the image that we are using, and I said that the image should cover the entire area. Okay, then before I can get the chance to close this, I also declared a paragraph inside it, which I try to position to the place where I want it by using left and top. These are just basics of web that you should know. In the real sense of it, you might not be using this in some bigger project, but the idea you gain from here is going to be well appreciated later on. I hope you understand, and I do not want to make it longer than this, so I'm going to end here, and in the next lecture we are going to continue with the other part. And let me quickly show you the other part here. So this other part here that we want to do is how you come up with something like this, and we ended up with the footer. So that's where we are going to end. Once again, I really want to thank you for staying with me on this lecture, and in the next lecture I'm going to be taking off from where we stopped.